Hi, you guys doing? You're watching Andy WTH. I'm Andy. Uh, this is Survivor edition of my show, 33 USA. It's been pretty much 2 weeks now. I haven't done a video. I've been kind of busy the last week or so. So let's kind of do a little bit of a catch up what's going on from the first week. Basically, we're at the beginning of the show. Of course, we already know as Zeke and Adam are on the outs, right? So they're kind of like on the bottom, if you want. So they're not in a really good position. So all right, so we got that kind of set where those two guys are, and of course, as the game begins, they had tree mail, and guess what? They were able to kind of like have a summit, if you want, with the other tribes and the other tribe. So Generation X send over, of course, with the rock, because they had basically whoever had the orange rocks was the representative for their tribes. So on the Generation X, of course, David drew a rock, Chris, Cece, and Paul. All right. So out of that group, obviously, those of the four, who was in the bottom? Of course, David and Cece. So that's kind of gives them an opportunity to maybe connect for their game farther down the road. So they can take advantage of it. I think they did, but we'll discuss that in a minute. And of course, on the other side, you got Will, the young guy, and of course, three of the four, the Lions, which is actually pretty good because this is why. You had one that stayed back with the tribe, so she can kind of keep an eye on if there's any funny business, what's going to happen, right, while they're not there. So it's kind of good that way. So like I said, Will, Jay, Taylor, and Figgy. So they went to the summit. They get there, they were chit-chatting, having a meal. And of course, they're trying to get information as much as they can. And of course, this is where Paul and Chris should have been a little bit more careful, if you want. They should have known, or they should know, that the two of them are on the outs, David and Cece. So they should have not have kind of bugger off, excuse me, without leaving both of them by themselves. They should have had a plan before they went in, but they didn't. And of course, it didn't take long for the millennials to figure out, hey, Paul was wearing the jeans of the tribe. And of course, they were kind of picking the brains of David and Cece. Okay, and they were sitting there kind of telling you, he's the guy. You had to see, I can tell it where on the sleeves. And they really did not give a lot of information to the other tribe. And of course, during this whole process, David, of course, knowing that he's on the bottom, he kind of went over and talked to, I think it was Jay or Taylor, it doesn't matter, one or the other, say, hey, when we, I believe it was Taylor actually, hey, if we ever get a merge or we cross each other or whatever into another, like, if we ever get in the same tribe, basically, I'll work with you. So right away he made a connection. So he's already thinking ahead, which again, Paul and Chris should have figured that one out. All right, so the meal went great for the millennials, not so much for Generation X. And then they went back to their each of their tribe, and this is where I find very, very interesting for the Generation X. Now Paul is sitting there walking around like he's in charge. He knows what's going on. So of course he's talking to some of the girls that is in his alliance of 6. And she's saying, oh, yeah, we'll vote who you want. I believe Cece was the target because during the competition that they lost, okay, Cece's real reason why they lost because she was trying to go over the balance beam, and it took her forever to do it. So automatically that put a target around her back. Boom. So, all right. So while Paul was there talking to the two of the girls that's in this tribe, or not tribe, excuse me, it's alliance, and that was Jessica. She says, "Yeah, we'll stick together as long as you guys don't do this all-guy alliance thing." Well, he said, this is where he's not very smart. He goes to tell Jessica, "Well, you know what? Don't worry about it. If it does happen, I will tell you, then I'll say, girls, you're on your own. So she's like, wait a minute here. All right, why should I wait to strike Paul now? So obviously I'm not that solid. I'm on the bottom of that alliance. So she figured, okay, I'm going to make a move. So when the tribal council came, of course, blindside, Paul out the door he went. And of course, guess who was pissed off? Chris and Brent. They're like, oh my God, I don't know. Wow. Really, they only had themselves to blame. Or excuse me, Paul to blame. Because he did not word what he was saying to them properly. Hey, when somebody tells you, hey, you're not going to freaking backstab me, eh? You don't pretty much tell them, yeah, I will. So that's why Paul is out. So basically, that's what happened at that point. And at that point, Jessica should have realized I got a target on my back, okay? But she did not really realize that at that point. So, okay, now let's go to this week that just happened. All right. Basically, of course, you had two competitions. You had the first one was luxury. Generation X won it, hands down, because of Chris. Chris is like a big freight train. You can't stop that guy. That guy's huge. So they won it because of him. Then, of course, then it came down to the immunity, and Menials, excuse me, have won that. All right, so this is going to be very interesting. At this point, of course, Generation X is going back again to tribal council. Of course, this is what gets really, really absolutely amazing to me. Lucy decided, you know what? Let's target Jessica because she's the one that made the big move last week to get rid of Paul. She can't be trusted, so on and so forth. So she goes over to talks to Brent and this person, and then I'll get the votes. And she went over. She told Ken and David, "This is how it has to be. You do what I say. Don't go around talking to anybody." So she thought she was basically the new Paul. And then of course Ken's like thinking, I don't like this. We just got rid of a dictator. So what does he do? He goes over. They're trying to get the votes to keep Jessica in and vote out Lucy. And Lucy, of course, at this point, is not really aware what's going on too much because they're trying. And then he tells Jessica, Ken. And of course, what does Jessica do? She goes over, all right, to Lucy, say, "Oh, well, Ken said this," and so on and so forth. It's like, are you dumb? He just told you information that will help you. Because no, you were dumb. So she thought she was in the good. Then when the vote came, of course, and this is where David was kind of stupid, but good at the same time. It all depends how it's going to work out down the end. The vote was coming down, and it was as clear as day when the votes were coming out that Jessica was leaving. But just before the vote, David decided, you know what? I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to save Jessica with my idol. So he played the idol, saved Jessica, and Lucy got the hee-hove out. Now, that was really good. It was great entertainment, but really bad move for David. This is why. Now David is on everybody's radar. So so basically he could have screwed his game there. So we're going to see how it works out in the next couple of weeks. Did it really help him or did it screw him? And remember, next week, guys, is a big shakeup. They're basically taking the tries, mixing them all up, and they're starting really back at zero again. Just basically, almost have some of them have to start new again on reforming alliances. It'd be so definitely another game changer next week. So we're going to see how that works out, who goes where, and how it's going to work out. And of course, the power couples, Taylor and Figgy, was like, "Oh my God, we're separating." Yeah, really? You're there to play for $1 million. Grow up and play the game. Anyway, that's my view right now, and I'll tell you, at this point, who's going to win? Of course, I forgot to also mention Adam. He actually got the hidden immunity idol. He found it. Now, this guy is not going to be like David. Okay, he is going to keep this thing quiet. He's going to keep it in his pocket. He's going to use it when he needs to use it. And I don't think it's going to be used on anybody else. Absolutely not. So that's going to be a difference in Adam. I think he's starting to actually, I'm starting to kind of be impressed with him because he is a guy that is really got his eye on the prize. All right. He knows he's there for $1 million, and he knows he's starting to know what the lay of the land is, right, and how to get there. So we're going to see how he works out. At this point, I think he's on top. I know he's on the bottom of the list, but I think this guy here, if anybody in the game right now that's playing that can get from the bottom to the top and win, it could be him, because I think he's just got that little extra energy, if you want. So we're going to see. Anyways, that's just my my thoughts this week on Survivor, and I can't wait for next week. It should be good. So we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again for watching. You're watching Andy WTH. I'm Andy. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.